これで五十嵐三兄弟が揃ったな。
In today's video, we look at the Igarashi siblings' teamwork in action, because a family that fights together stays together. Of all the fights they've been in, the ones I'm covering today are the textbook examples of that in action. And because this one's really just a Revice highlights video, we're here for just the squabbles today, so don't expect any deep thoughts. Like I really came here for that shit. So I'm already on a time crunch making this, so you just like and subscribe and I'll get started. Alright, so confession time. Saying the Igarashis just be jumping Deadmans is both kind of a stretch and clickbaiting on my part. What I should say is that the siblings are so well coordinated in combat that it feels like they got a team up ability active when they're in battle, and this first exhibit proves my point. Also, because I'm so Marvel Rivals brain rotted right now, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Revice is a vanguard, Live is a strategist, and Gene is a duelist. Argue with me in the comments. Anyway, it's Christmas time in the Igarashi home, but the lingering worry of the Deadmans still persists considering they managed to get their hands on the Giff stamp and are getting ready for his revival. To make matters worse, Aguilera finds out that she's gonna be sacrificed in order to make him complete. So they basically told her that she's forming a union with Giff, but it ain't the marriage kind she wanted. While all that is going on, the folks at Phoenix are proactive, as they have a tracker on the Giff stamp and located the Deadman's base doing so. Using Kagero's help, initially by force, they learn how to get into the hideout, and when they do, they team up with Phoenix and start the Rico bust on the Deadmans. When they get to the main room, they manage to interrupt the revival, and then they put that shit on to hopefully end this once and for all. Spoilers, they don't, but it's fun to think about. When the fight starts, the siblings run up and call ISO on all the respective Giffettes that's there. Jean slaps up the weird guy who attacked her at school, Revice fights the chameleon dude who I think used to hunt Amazons, and the last dude calls Ikki an egoist a lot. For this video, their names do not matter, just watch Revice if you give a damn. Oh yeah, Olteka and Julio are there too, but like, whatever. Anyway, the Igarashi/Phoenix team is raffle stomping the Giffix, so much so that even Hiromi gets inspired to jump in and get some licks in too as demons. In the midst of this, Ikki goes Barret Rex, Sakura gets a bazooka, and Daiji switches Olteka through a wall.
That boy is good.
Oh yeah, and Hiromi gets to clap up the chameleon Giffx too, while managing not to die due to the whole demon's driver aging you when you use it. I definitely oversimplified that, but this video ain't about him, so back to the fight. If you can't tell, they are putting belt to ass, and when the team deathmatch turns into a 4v2, I knew the fight was hitting its crescendo. Wasting no time afterwards, the siblings decide to wrap this shit up with a team finisher. Vice makes himself useful by shielding an attack, just in time for the riders to drop 7 meters of pack watch on some Deadman ass. The fight technically ends here, as saving Aguilera and blowing up the now flying Deadman's base ultimately puts the Deadmans in disarray, with 2 less members to help them on top of which. Julio leaves with Aguilera, who's a kaijin now, and Olteka and the chameleon are now active and desperate fugitives. Also, and arguably my favorite part of this, Hiromi talks to Mama Igarashi to get her to sign the permission slips for the siblings to keep being superheroes. That was funny to see. This all comes to a head when the family heads to the grocery store and Mama is suddenly kidnapped by the chameleon. He attempts to kidnap her and then use the disguise self spell to get a stealth kill in. Unfortunately for him, the entire interaction was actually a trap for him, and when Mama pops out A-OK, I felt a jumping coming. Together, they dropped the hardest bars in the series before putting that shit on in front of their mama and confronting the chameleon once again.
Sir, that's tough, my nigga. That's tough.
The chameleon in turn creates some minions while the siblings get ready to...
What did I just see? What did I just see?
Anyway, the fight starts with the siblings diving into the crowd and getting to work immediately. Revi and Vice handle the Chameleon Man this time, and after landing a few team attacks, the Chameleon uses his cliche invisibility feature. Though he does get a few sneak attacks in, a simple form change quickly turns the squabble back in our MC's favor. Using the momentum, they form change again and apply even more pressure. Meanwhile, Live is up top running and gunning, while Jean is performing her repeat of her Muso run from the video we covered about her. Since her mom's cheering them on, everybody's running at 120%, and with the momentum of the fight clearly in their favor, I really don't think these niggas can lose if they're together. Look, watch this. We get a Live highlight. We get a Jean highlight. And when I saw Revi go into Barret Rex, I knew we were ready to wrap this shit up. They must have heard me too, cause Live and Jean dropped a well-timed level 14 finish on the rest of the jobbers, and all that's left was Revi's fight, who realizes that he can't save those who don't want it. As a result, Revi does a contact fusion combo before dropping 3 meters of pack watch on Deadman ass. The day is saved, and this fight convinces Mama Igarashi to let them keep being superheroes. On a serious note, these fights happen in back-to-back episodes, and it's the textbook demonstration on how truly unstoppable the Igarashis are together when they're in combat. Whenever all three are together, they usually never lose, and honestly, I can't really think of a lot of moments where all three of them have taken a collective L. I should know I didn't do my proper due diligence for this video. I just found the fights I really liked the most and watched them. So if you do know any particular moments where all three of them have lost at the same time, please actually me in the comments, I guess. We'll come back to the whole three of them in tandem fighting, but for now, let's move on to our second exhibit and one of the coolest fights in the series. This fight stems from a two-parter that I wish I could magically erase Saburo Kimura out of. To make this a long story short, Ikki visits a high school reunion but disrespects a friend by not remembering a promise he made with that classmate. By the way, Ikki doesn't remember this because his continuous transformations into Revice is erasing his memories. Not because he's like me who forgets stuff because he hit a blinker off that Penzaki Kazuma. Anyway, when a plant-based Deadman appears, it uses its sleep powder to get both of them to meet in a pseudo-dream place. Ikki gets to confront this memory and apologize to his old soccer buddy, and this reignites his soul to fight. So now we head to the point of the episode where Live is fighting the flower, and Ikki shows up just in time for him to jump this flower with full force. With the resolve of a real hero, Revi mixes and counters the flower with some of my favorite camera shots in the series, and when he starts painting elements in the air to buff Live, my brain was not prepared for what happens next.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, boy.
These two's jumping skills are on par with that of a JJK jumping, and their ability to set up combos one after another is something that should be studied. Live's lightning amp combo just sets his brother up to smash the Kaijin into the ground with his own lightning haymaker, and the moment Ikki showed up, this shit became one-sided. And when I show you how he wraps this shit up, you will believe, trust me, you'll believe it. Using a goddamn lightning flaming tornado, Revi launches the flower into the air, then races up to it to reveal that the tornado is now made of dozens of elemental buffs. And not wasting any of them, Revi uses them to drop 7 meters of pack watch in that ass. The overall plot that leads to this fight is really touching and sweet, and it makes Ikki more likable in my opinion. I just wish I could AI wipe Subaru Kimura out of this episode, like I said. and if you know, you know. This fight being punctuated by Ikki's friend pursuing his voice acting goal may seem random, but it establishes that both of them not only forgive each other, but they are both fulfilling their dreams as strikers, albeit in a different way. Also, for it being so short, it's actually one of the most aesthetically pleasing squabbles in the entirety of the series. So there's that. Finally, I got one more for y'all, and not only does it involve all three again, but it's the penultimate example of the Igarashi invincibility. This fight takes us to the endgame, with Giff, as he's not only revived, but he's all gas no brakes. Giff is seemingly unstoppable, and with the siblings in disarray, they aren't able to sync up to solve this problem. This comes into a head when Daiji learns his lesson, gets perfect wing, and they're able to seal Giff away. But this is only temporary as Giff returns using his own version of evil swarms to create minions and Vice as a mouthpiece to reiterate his genocide of humanity. Once again, 2/3 of the Igarashi siblings face off against Giff, but unfortunately they prove to be not enough. And after rewatching these squabbles that led to the finale, I completely agree with Vice. But when it's discovered that Giff's pocket dimension doubles as his stomach, we find a way to beat it. The brothers plan to attack Giff from the outside while Vice jumps into the portal and attacks from within. Sakura is dealing with some character development at the moment, so she won't be able to show up until later. When Giff spawns back up looking for the Igarashis to join his family reunion with his army in tow, they decline and put that shit on to hopefully run the final fade against the BBEG. Unfortunately, it's not that simple, and Vice has to duck and dodge laser beams while the brothers have to fight off a horde of Deadmans. Julio, aka Tamaki, and Aguilera are there supporting them, but I should point out that Giff is a force to be reckoned with. Remember, Daiji got a final form, and they was playing the music during one of their scalps. They was playing this man's theme music when he got his final form. They did some raw ass shit to him to seal him, and he still came back. And he stayed with a pack of Deadmans to use and smoke at his leisure. And I don't mean pack of Deadmans like they cigarettes, like a legion of Deadmans he can control. Case in point, that time he just shoots fucking a crowd of his Deadmen just to hit Revi and then makes more to go jump Daiji. Yeah, he's tough. Anyway, back to the fight. Sakura shows up just in time, equipped with that completed character development, and when she puts that shit on, she becomes Jean She flexes her new form just enough until she runs off to go help her brothers. And damn, even Hiromi out here getting his licks in too. Eventually, quick thinking from both Revi and Live sets up a combo for the Revice pair to land a dual 3-meter finish on both Giff and his cocoon heart, destroying the latter in the process. Now that Giff is beatable, this leads to that cliche moment where the villains start questioning the heroes while having some valid ass points doing so, to which our heroes respond with the cliche answer being, quote, despite that, it's our right to do so, as making mistakes and changing is the best part of being a human, end quote. So with all the minions cleared, you know what time it is. Yes! In unison, the siblings decide to wrap this shit up, and together, they drop 7 meters of pack watch in Giff's ass.
Another epic victory! Big win!
This fight solidifies my thoughts from the first exhibit that when fighting together, the Igarashi siblings are unstoppable. It helps that the show is not only about facing yourself, but reminding you that your family, both relative and found, will be there to pick you up when you're down. Or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, man, that's the video. Told you, simple, short, fun one. Ain't nothing fucking deep about them whooping ass. It's like watching the Powerpuff Girls whoop people asses. It's just, once them hands go up, it's a wrap. Ways to support the channel are in the description. Please buy some toys from Hy-Vee Links Japan. I know you want some, so buy some toys so you can support the channel and get this video to 2,000 likes, and we'll talk about a Revice video again. I love y'all. Give me $5.